Here we go. And share the screen with you guys. And we go into last part of module 3. And we are talking about personal development, unsolved emotions, and troubleshooting. To round up our journey through the orders of love with Bert Hellinger and the orders of helping, how to facilitate a family constellation event. Hmm? So, why are we going through these personal issues? You will see by the end of today why this is utmost important. Um, because, let's put it that way, if you would become a physics teacher, yeah, physics or mathematics or whatever, science, you learn something about whatever formulas, yeah, and then you can, because you have learned the formulas, you can, give it to your students so they learn it from you, right? It's quasi, they can also read a book, yeah. If this teacher, the physics or math teacher is in any way, shape, or form has developed any kind of what can I say, like higher vibrations in his ego state, yeah, or not, is not a matter of conveying this teaching content. It's just a matter of how he conveys it, maybe, and how the people like him, but the teaching content can be conveyed, yeah. Family constellation is completely different. When you're facilitating a family constellation, you are not conveying information. Yeah, you're not conveying knowledge. You are giving support for others to heal themselves, self-healing. And in order to do that, you can only do that when you have healed yourself already. Hmm? Because otherwise, there is not much you can actually give. Yeah. Or let's put it the other way, you can only give so much as you have already acquired when you are facilitating family constellations. Hmm? And why is that? This is the answer will be in today's teaching content. So stay tuned, sharpen your ears, and let's go into it. So we are looking today at personal development, lifestyle choices, unsolved or trapped emotions, conditioned belief systems. We are doing an exercise as well. We are also looking at the dark night of the soul. We are checking out blind spots. We are talking about lakatosis, maybe a word you don't find in the dictionary. We are talking about troubleshooting. And in specific, what are we doing in the constellation with mentally impaired participants, including schizophrenia? And we are talking about family secrets. And then we have an exercise for that as well. Time, see if time will allow us to do that. So now talk about personal development. You can only give what you have, right? Like physically, you can only give somebody a gift or an object if you have it, right? How could you give anybody something you don't have? That's not giving, right? You can only give an emotion like gratitude if you feel it, if you have it, right? So this is like a basic rule, nature's law. Hmm? You can also only see what you know. Do you know that? The eyes are actually restricted. The eyes are only lenses. The eyes are restricted by what the brain enables the eyes or what the eye see everything, but the brain is translating everything through its functioning, or the mind. I'm not sure about that. I'm not a brain, scientist. Could be the mind is just going through filters there, right? And everything that you have been, exposed to when you were a child, and everything that you have learned, and everything you have been conditioned to, this is what you recognize. Everything which you haven't been conditioned to is hard to recognize, right? So there is this very famous example of Christopher Columbus when he reached the shore of North America. The Indian people on the shore, they couldn't see the fleet coming because that was absolute outside of their frame of, they have never seen ships like this before. Like there was absolutely no picture of them, not a picture book, or not, obviously no TV and all of this. So it was not existence for them. So what happened is that they only saw them, and the ships took half an hour to come closer and closer to the shore, and they only saw them when they were right in front of their eyes, right? And that is a famous example how our brain or mind or both functions to let us only see information that we can cope with. Yeah. This is why as more knowledge you have, as more you broaden your interest into all kinds of other subjects like philosophy and this and that, or psychology, or history, or whatever is your interest. As more you broaden that, as more you can give. Also as a facilitator, right? Another example is in Germany, of course, we had facilitated when Bert Helling was facilitating, we have so many war scenes there, right? From the Second and the First World War. But if, let's say, just in theory, the facilitator would not be educated in history, he would know that he sees a war like battlefield there, you know. So this is not pre-assumptions. This is just general knowledge that you have. And then in the moment you will see it, what you see. But if you wouldn't have any idea of war, you don't know what you see, right? I'm not saying that you cannot facilitate this. You might can, but it definitely has a stronger impact if you can name the truth. If you can name that what is truth. Yeah. So you have to possess this knowledge to give it to others. You have to possess, let's say, the unconditional love to help others without desire. Yeah. So this is all needs to be there first before you can pass it on. Now, also remember, why are you laughing at?
The dogs.
The dogs went off. You should not be able to hear them. Let me just check why that is the case. You can hear the dogs. Oh, my mic is completely all over the place. Hang on. Something is wrong. No, it says remove noise.
Like a dog party.
Yeah, it is kind of that. It's really bizarre. I have no idea. This is all. I have updated this thingy, and this doesn't work anymore for some reason. So we have to ignore that. So, what am I saying? Hang on just a sec. Okay, I'm back. So, you and also remember you are never finished with your personal development, right? To start to facilitate family constellation. There is not this magic moment where you can say, "Oh, I'm finished now. Now I can start." This is not going to happen. You will grow with what you do, right? But the starting point, of course, is at best with a lot of knowledge in all areas of life, in all walks of life, right? But then again, um, you will always get the participants that are ideal for the situation that you are in. You know, so you can trust the process as always. Hmm? Uh, and you start with a good foundation, of course, no? And the good foundation is not only this course material and Bert Hellinger's Orders of Love and Orders of Helping, it is also broader. It is it is common sense, it is some knowledge of history, or for example, if you work internationally, like what I do online, then I work with somebody from Indonesia, and I see something like a war scene, then I ask, was there a war in Indonesia? You can ask if you don't know the history, but you should at least see that that could be an issue, right? That could be something to look at. Hmm? So that is that. Let's see what else we have. Knowing yourself or self-realization is the way and the destiny. That's how I want to convey it. It all starts. It. Hang on. Sorry. Sorry. So, okay. Here's a little bit of a turmoil. So annoying. So, knowing yourself or self-realization is the way and the destiny. First of all, this is the way for everyone, right? Obviously, that's for everyone the same. But then there is also a boundary to that. So we are not all born with the possibilities that we, can reach the highest goal or something like that, right? You have to acknowledge that there are boundaries to everyone, right? There is a destiny. The life is to a certain extent destined to go that far and not further in this lifetime. Hmm? So just saying this is why you never finish, but you also should start at a certain point, because you don't know really where is your end of the story, where what is the potential you have. And to see this potential and to come out and to embrace this potential and make it worth it, that is the, if you will, the way that you are walking or the path that you are going. And in family constellation, this is really going deep normally, as you know, mm, and it's changing. It's very changing and is open new ways and new channels as well. And this is all I'm talking for you now, because when you are not for your clients or your participants, because you are here because you know how the deep impact of this modality, and you know for yourself how it impacts you, right? And also this never stops, right? There's always something more to do, always something more to release. There's always something, right? And this is why it's not finished, but ha doesn't matter. We start, remember this quote from Bert Hellinger, just put yourself in the situation and let you be guided. Yeah. If you have a good foundation, nothing can happen. You be safe. You find yourself in a position where you feel safe and good about what you do. Hmm? So, now we talk about ways to personal growth. First of course, keep participation in our workshop. That's one of the most important things, right? Keep observing the work and use this time to represent and maybe have your own constellation and keep on working in your own development. Then also attend our supervision workshops when you are finished and you have started to work with others to recap all the basic of your work and also to discuss problems you might have experienced in your work. Rosemary, you have to unmute. Yep.
explain a little bit more what that is? This is something you are doing,
Yes.
or
So if you look at the website, there is on the in the main menu is supervision workshop.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you read through that, if you click on that and you read through that, then you know what we are doing. It's a weekend workshop, and that is only for Finnish trainees or for people who are facilitating, who are working with family constellation, right? Either privately or with friends and families or professionally, right? Right. So this is then just to keep on, working on your personal development. And not only personal, but also as a facilitator in this regards. You cannot really divide that. You are the person you are, and you are facilitating, so your person is involved, right? So, continue reading uplifting literature is also really, really important. There is a list of literature that I give you for the training. There's lots of other literatures, which is um, outside of drama, if you want, yeah, or fiction, which is concerned with personal development, and this is always good to read. I mean, there are so many, I can't really give you recommendations, but trust the process and you feel drawn to a certain author or to a certain book. That's how I always say, I don't find a book, the book finds me somehow. And when before we had all this Amazon and all this electronic and all even websites where you can buy books, I was just my favorite hobby was to go in a bookstore. Anybody else? So weirdo? Oh, good. Oh, thank you. That was my favorite time, yeah. And then I went out with one or two books and I have no idea why. Right? Maybe you have experienced the same, but they were awesome. I loved them. So that's how it goes. The same translate now, of course, to the electronic environment, hmm, that you can use for that. Of course, go also to other retreats for personal growth or other family constellation workshops or whatever you are drawn to. Yeah, keep on being interested and don't think now that I'm certified and I did a year of friendship circle and I have a workshop together, now I'm finished. Right? This is not the truth, right? Right. So in my world, I go every year to a retreat of some kind. Okay, since COVID, it was online. Up before, it was in person, and I found it really so refreshing every single time. Right, there's always something. Have a daily routine for personal development. I think that is really important. Not a strict one. I'm not talking about something like Ashtanga yoga. So I'm talking about something that it could be just making a herbal tea in the morning and sitting down for 5 minutes and just reflecting or being still or something. Nothing stressful, but just something that centers you down, right? Because when you center down, you can stay connected with the field, and that is really important that this is a habit. Breathing exercise, pranayama, seem to be the best way to do that, right? So if you have a yoga teacher or an online teaching for pranayama, for yoga, deep yogic breath, see if there's anything that draws your attention and make that a daily. It doesn't need to be in the morning. Whenever you have time, make that a practice to practice deep breathing because this is amazing what healing properties in your own breath lies. Of course, make good lifestyle choices. Hmm? Very important. So what are good lifestyle choices? Everybody thinks probably that something different, maybe. So I would say we're talking about alcohol. So is there anybody of you who's not drinking alcohol? Very good. And the other ones, what are you drinking? So what is it? Yes, Rosemary.
During the summertime when it's hot, I would have a cider in the just way today after horse ride, I would have a cider. That's it.
Oh, okay. Cider is a very mild drink.
And otherwise,
Nothing.
nah,
Good. Why not?
I don't like it.
Oh, okay. What do you not like in it? What is it?
Ah, um, for example, we go on horse tracks, and then at the end we sit around the campfire. I have my cider, one cider, and then people say to me, "You don't drink." I said, "Yeah, of course I drink a cider." And then people say to me, oh, and they say, "Well, after the first one, I don't like it any longer." And they say, "Yeah, but me neither, but I keep going." And they keep going till they drop. I
Ah.
don't understand. And a lot of people drink to be loose, to be funny. And I think,
Hmm.
I don't need that.
No. Very good. That's a great observation. I think that, yeah. So you don't feel the need to numb yourself down and adopt another personality when you have alcohol, right? Mm. Reem, what do you think? What are you drinking?
For me, like I would have maybe like a glass of prosecco if I have to. Like
Hmm.
I love whiskey. Like I enjoy the taste of whiskey. But like if I want to like if I'm out with friends, I would have only one glass for the same reasons. I try now to engineer my going out with friends to activities or things that doesn't involve a lot of drinking for the same reason. I don't want to be the sober one.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to babysit anyone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
And the
you
same thing,
also
I don't
don't
want the
like
pressure.
so you also don't like this feeling of being drunk.
I used to. I
Yeah.
used to. Like that used to be the mission of going out. But now as I think as I'm getting older, or I don't know, as I'm getting more spiritual, I don't enjoy it anymore. Like it's just like it's
That's
not
a good
the
point.
purpose. It's
Mm.
not like I don't enjoy the crowd. I don't enjoy the feeling. It's
Yeah.
not my thing anymore.
That's a great point. You just name it. As I'm going to become more spiritual, I don't enjoy that anymore. That's exactly what
Yeah.
happens with personal development, right? You're coming more into your spiritual power, and all of a sudden you don't want to numb it down because you enjoy it actually. You enjoy the clarity you gain. You enjoy the unconditional love towards yourself and others that you gain.
I think also like before the healing, you might have had a lot of issues that you wanted to numb, but now as you more and more work on yourself, you don't have those issues that make you feel like, oh, I want to get drunk and I want to forget, or I want to same if they say with even like drugs, like I mean, I don't enjoy anything anymore really
Yeah,
of the things that I used to enjoy before.
yeah.
And like funny enough, last time you said that father is the face of addiction, and I've worked a lot on both actually my mom and my dad. If and you would know out of people.
Yeah,
And I worked on them too, both actually, like with you, grab them over, not grab them. They willingly came to your
yeah,
sessions too.
yeah. That's true. That's true. Rosemary, yeah?
Um, Reem just said in a way, you don't like to go out with friends who drink or so. I can go out with anyone and I don't drink. And
Mm.
people say, oh, no, I can't come. I don't drink. I said, yeah, but I never mind that everyone drinks, everyone smokes. I don't. They still can be my friends, but I don't have to. There's, and they never felt like I'm out of place.
Okay,
This is just, and they left me alone. They never said in a way, you should have.
good.
No,
Good friends. I mean, not bullying you. That's nice. That's not
it's
very
hard to.
common.
It's hard to bully me.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. Hey, Aisha, what is it? What is your take on alcohol?
Okay, so for me, I can drink anything and absolutely everything. And the only reason I actually drink, I used to drink before, was to bury my sorrows. Because like Reem said, when you drink, you're in this different space, and
Hmm.
also to enjoy people around you. Because I kept hanging out with friends or people who who drink, and I kind of not enjoy their company. So when I drink, I tend to love them more. So I drank because I wanted to fit in. I've been on this spiritual journey for the last like 10 years. So I've stopped drinking. There have been periods where I drink nothing. And then I get constantly asked, oh, why aren't you drinking? Stop being a loser, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's so difficult. So nowadays I pretend to take soda with lemon and it looks like I'm having a gin. So I say, oh yeah, that's my drink. I'm having a gin. And then my friend would smell my drink. Is this really gin? I said, yeah, yeah. So I don't drink. Generally, I try not to drink. And I mean, and I don't even enjoy the taste of it. It's just to fit in. Now I have learned the trick of just pretending I'm drinking with this glass that looks like it's got soda and gin and all inside. But yeah, I actually do not like as I grow in my spiritual path, it's just doesn't, you know, it just doesn't fit in with my higher self.
Yeah. Great. So we can, I all hear you all, and it is always kind of the same journey for everyone, right? You find meaning in your life through spiritual development in a non-religious way, and then you ditch the alcohol because it doesn't give you anything more, right? And that's exactly what I wanted to convey here. That's exactly your turning point. If you do not enjoy alcohol anymore, that means you want to be sober because you enjoy life or your senses as they are, unfogged, you know, and that's beautiful. So that's a good point. Drugs, obviously, it's not coming up. Hang on here. Drugs and smoking. Anybody smokes here? No. It's a little bit the same, isn't it? That's a little bit the same. What do you think, Rain?
I used to smoke
Mm,
and I quit smoking now.
mm, yeah. Also the father. Hmm. I had this lovely, who was on the workshop? It's a few months ago with Rossio, who's on the training. She wanted to quit smoking. Has anybody been on the workshop? That was so cool. You know, we went through as we do. I don't remember what it was. Mm, certainly had to do with father and way on. I just recently met somebody who knows her, and I asked him though, is actually, does she smoke again? I said, no, she's not smoking anymore. And I'm sure it's half a year ago or something. And she couldn't stop for goodness sake for so many years. So yeah, great. So yeah, you can definitely stop smoking or drinking alcohol in a or with the help of a family constellation when you are ready. You need to be ready for that, right? Need to be ready. Drugs obviously are worse than alcohol. They are fogging the mind even more. So I don't think that anybody on the spiritual path. No, it is actually. So people actually, there is this drug thing about the natural drugs who are ayahuasca and all of this, you know, or who are kind of altering the state of mind and some claim that they have spiritual encounters. Yeah. So I would be really, really careful with that, right? It's still an mind altering. And the true spirituality is to know yourself and go deep into your own self with all awareness that you have and kind of clean up dark corners of it, right? So you can lift up in higher vibration. That's actually the spiritual journey. So just to zoom out for 2 hours into La La Land, I'm not sure how it's actually work, you know, to overcome your own fears and to overcome childhood conditioning and family entanglements. That is work. We know that, right? That is work. It's enjoyable work, but it's also hard. It can be frightening. But just to think I just have a trip and then something is solved, well, definitely not in the family system. I can guarantee you that, right? So this is very you know, I don't want to say much about it. I know there are very convinced people who think this is a spiritual thing, but I don't think so. Rosemary, you go.
With the drugs, I noticed, you see, I never ever took any drugs, and no one ever offered me any in my life. So anyway, I think people really can sense where they could find their new person to sell drugs, or anyway, or
Yeah.
people sense that you're open for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
You see, I could go somewhere, they offered drugs to all my friends. No one offered me any drugs.
Actually, this always happens to me too. No one ever offers me stuff,
Wonderful.
ever. And I used to live on a really like dodgy area in London,
Yeah.
and people,
Where
my
was
friends used
that?
to come and visit in a Turnpike Lane, North London, and people used to, there used to be people coming out of the tube, and they'd always say to other people, "Do you want some of this? Do you want some of this?" I never ever got asked. I was like, "What's wrong with me?" You know?
What's right with me, you should ask yourself. It's really interesting. Anybody else want to share something with the drugs or smoking? Reem, how was it when you gave up smoking? How was that for you? Why did you give up smoking?
Why? Okay, you're gonna laugh now. About 2 years ago, I just when COVID started, I don't know why, just like the was the time where like I became vegetarian. I started like I quit smoking. I was like I decided to like because you know how they used to say like a lot like people with the worst health, the COVID hit them harder. I was like, yeah, I'm 37, but I think I have a body for 50 something years old. I've done lots of crap in my life,
Yeah.
and it's time to get my shit together. So it was a conscious decision. It's like, okay, that's enough. We've had not nice time. It was fun. And now it's time to actually, like clean up and be okay. And smoking, actually, before meeting you, I had a constellation with someone else. And I think the hardest part after the constellation was actually the conscious effort, because you have the routine, like waking up in the morning, having your cigarette or eat. It's actually the habit that was hard to quit. And even now, like like funny enough, it's been like almost 2 years. There's every now and then like a random night where like, you know what, I can have one, and then I'll confess, that was a bad idea.
It wouldn't be a bad idea because this is how people start again with one.
Heba still, Heba, my sister still smokes. She does. She's always smoked, and she's a chain smoker. And it's funny how when you quit smoking, it's the smell is like pungent.
Horrible,
And I just
isn't
think,
it?
did I smell like that? Did I walk around smelling like an ashtray my whole life?
Yeah, I know, I know. Very good. Thank you for sharing. So let's talk about food. Now you have to stop me because I can go on and on about that. I have whole courses about that. Some are 7 weeks long. So I'm not gonna rant
Certainly will
here.
not be stopping you.
So I just keep it short. Food is we are what we eat and digest, obviously, right? This is what makes our body. But not only our body, food has a spiritual and an emotional component, yeah, in general. So when you think of food, the food is either nourishing the body or depleting the body. There is no in between, yeah? Right? There is no a little bit pregnant. You are either pregnant or you are not pregnant, but you are not a little bit pregnant. So that's the same with food. It is either nourishing your body or depleting your body. It's just what it is, right? So if you find the food or suss out the food that is nourishing your body and the food that is depleting your body, then you really know when you do lifestyle choices consciously what you should let go of, right? So, as a matter of fact, everything that is growing in a natural environment, I don't want to even say organic, it's really hard to find nowadays, but everything that is grown in its natural environment and comes from the earth is nourishing food. Yeah. Everything else that is processed is depleting. Yeah. And when I say processed, I'm not only talking about potato chips. Yeah. I'm talking about animal food as well. Because all animals are eating the plants from the earth, right? And then they are processing that into their own protein. And then when you eat animal products, you are eating that protein, right? Not your own, that. And this is why, and that is a scientific fact nowadays, since the 1980s, since the China study from Dr. Campbell has been proven the detrimental effects of animal products because of that. They are depleting the body, they are not nourishing the body. So that is on a physical level. That's that's biochemistry, if you will. Then there is an emotional level. Hold on your thought. Then there is an emotional level, right? A plant that grows is fine and happy with, a cow eating it or a human harvesting it. The fruits are falling from the tree in abundance in autumn. It doesn't matter who eats, it's all there, right? This goes on with beans and everything, right? However, an animal is not giving you um, voluntary anything. Yeah. And if it doesn't want to be eaten, it runs away from you if it can. It doesn't want to give you the milk, it wants to give the milk to their baby if it can. Run away. Huh? The chick doesn't want to give you the egg, it wants to sit on it and make babies. Right? So this kind of drama that is created by deriving food from animals is causing an emotional disturbance in your body because you are eating or you're taking in this vibration of this fear of this animal. When you eat it, it's just like it is so, right? And then there's a spiritual moment to it as well. So this, can you not hear me? Am I gone again? Oh gosh, I don't know what's going on. First, my my noise thingy doesn't work. This is so weird. There was an update and this doesn't work. Sorry for that. I repeat. Where did you lost me?
Just last sentence, in a way, about the animals.
Emotionally or spiritually?
Spiritually.
Spiritually.
Okay, good. So I didn't say much more than that. So I just started. So there is this spiritual level to food as well, right? And the spiritual level has all to do with compassion. Yeah. So if you are if you want to work on the level of unconditional love, right? You cannot stop by your food choices, right? If you take your personal development and your work as a family constellation facilitator seriously, then you have to consider how how you choose your food to not harm other beings, right? This is just a spiritual level to it. So considering that, obviously animal products, regardless what it is, even the fish and the chooks, they are all harmed through consuming, right? That is just a fact. So just make sure that you do your own lifestyle choices, yeah? That is important. It is okay if you think, you know what, I love my steak. Fine, but then at least be sure that on a physical level you are adding more greens and more beans and more rice to the plate than meat, right? So the nutritious part is outweighing the depleting part of your body. That's one thing, right? And then on an emotional level, make sure that you eat probably something wild caught or wild shot or something, that hasn't been suffered all life to provide you with what you get. Yeah. And then on a spiritual level, make sure that you say thank you, right? Don't take that for granted, right? To balance out the suffering of the animals and what it gives to you against its will. At least say thank you, right? Have a conversation. Don't treat this meat or what like something you get from the supermarket and it is magically produced in a fab plant somewhere, right? It's not. It's a living, breathing being with a destiny and a soul, right? So that's what I want to say about food choice. Is there any questions? Anything to discuss?
How about eggs?
Okay, now we're getting into eggs. So there are two bad news about eggs, right? One is the egg yolk and one is the egg white. The egg white is derived, is only pure densified animal protein. Animal protein has not the same DNA as human protein. This is why animal protein has been proven that it causes cancer in the body and all kinds of autoimmune diseases. And that is since these 10-year studies from Dr. Campbell from 1980 to 1990 is this a fact. So you can read that book, the China study, if you want. It's quite scientific, but you can read it. I hope you hear me. And no, yeah,
No, you got quite correctly then. The China studies?
China, the China studies, the China studies. Okay. Uh, so that is the egg white. So you are pumping your body full with foreign protein that your body doesn't know, and there is a reaction to it, right? Because the body produces its own protein from amino acids, and so does the chicken. The chicken eats grains and vegetables. Then these are full of amino acids, like our food, our plant food. And then the chicken makes out of these amino acids proteins. And then you eat the proteins. They are not yours because you should do your own proteins with your own DNA, you know? So you have the amino acids from the plants as well, like the chicken, but you are transferring it right away into your own genes, into your own proteins, yeah, with your own genes. So that is the important difference. That's the egg white. The egg yolk is full of, who knows that? Cholesterol, right? And there was a fake news from the egg industry 10 or 20 years ago saying, yeah, it has bad cholesterol, it's not heart healthy, but it has also good cholesterol. This is fake news. This is not true. There is no good cholesterol that is outbalancing the bad cholesterol. It's just not true. Yeah? There are different cholesterols. One is worse than the other, but that's not the case that you can say they're outweighing. So that's why on a physical level, eggs are not recommended to eat as a nourishing food. They are on the other side. They are also depleting the body, yeah, of life forces. On the conscious side, on the emotional and spiritual side, if you eat an egg, for every egg you eat, one male chook has been killed. For every egg you eat. Because the hen lays eggs and 50% are males and 50% are females. Only the females survive in the industry because they are laying eggs. The males are shredded in a big shredder. All male chooks are shredded after they have been birthed, right? So that means for every egg you eat, some chook has been shredded, right? So you have to account for that. You just have to acknowledge that. And when you don't have your own eggs in your backyard, of course, right? That is different. But if you buy eggs in the supermarket, that's the fact of life, right? So, and then on a conscious level, if you have ever seen factory farmed, which is practically even the free range eggs are not much better, how they live and how they are kept in such an inhuman way that they have no space and they pick on each other's anus because and eyes out, and we are rescuing these chicks, in my animal sanctuary. We are rescuing these chicks from a breeder, and they come in horrible conditions, right? And no feathers, and no eye, one has no eye, one eye out, and it's just, this is how they treat the hens, right? So yeah, if you eat eggs and you said no, I want to eat eggs, I get my own backyard chickens and then I eat eggs, great, yeah. But if you buy an egg in the supermarket, consider all of these when you do the choice, right? Hmm? Or good, Kaisha? That was too much of information for you. Reem.
I just want to say that, like, I mean, if you are slightly interested, or if not, at least intrigued, on Netflix there are really good documentaries. Like, this is how actually I converted. Like, on Netflix, there are really good documentaries about the effects of the food industry, like the meat industry, on the environment, on the earth, like on like how they treat animals. It's just like when you actually see it with your own eyes, like, oh, I can't eat this anymore. That was the push I had. Otherwise, like my whole family eats meats.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. So definitely, if you are interested and you want to make better food choices, yeah, Netflix has great. Start with Forks Over Knife, and then there is Cowspiracy, and then there is and then you go from one to the other. To the latest one is Seaspiracy, where it's about fish. Yeah. Okay, right. So we talked about the daily routine. Um, I just think it centers one really well, and that's a good lifestyle choice to set away a few minutes in a day to, to come into this space, in this inner space of being yourself, connecting with yourself, with earth, with, grounding and not thinking and not having problems to solve, or, or even excitement, even joyful things that you think about. Just not just be in the present moment. Feel yourself. That's really important. This is the state that you should have when you sit on the chair next to the. You can't hear me? Bloody hell. So in what I do is in the break, I will reboot my computer. So you have to dial in again, yeah, into the meeting. Okay. So I hope that I can, just with resetting, hopefully, that I can solve that problem. Yeah. Okay. Shall I go, or is it not possible? Then I reset now. Shall I go? Okay. So this is what I mean with daily routine. No, it's not a must, of course. Not good. I'd reset now. Okay, so since Charlotte and Reem had a shorter session, they probably can report to us in short as well. Let's see. Um, who wants to share? Shall we start with Charlotte?
Sure. So a conditioned belief I took from my childhood was that when it comes to musical practice and musical performance, we have to be perfect. And if you do a wrong note, it's not okay. So it's really interesting in my practice as a sound healer now. A lot of my work is about supporting other people to use their voices. And it doesn't matter if they make mistakes. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter. But I hold myself to these ridiculous high standards because of the way I've been conditioned. So for me, I'm supporting my students, but I'm also relearning myself as I
Yeah.
teach them. You know, it's really interesting how it mirrors. And I remember when I was a kid, we used to have music exams, and my dad, like, I was thinking about this the other day. My dad getting so angry with me because like a couple of days before my exam because I wasn't perfect, and that didn't really help at all, did it? You know, and so yeah, this conditioning that unless you're absolutely perfect, you shouldn't be performing and you should not be putting yourself out there. So that's one for me that actually has taken a long time to unlearn, and I'm still unlearning it as I teach others. It's very interesting, the mirroring, but anyway, that's just one that
Maybe,
popped in my
maybe you
mind.
did you see yourself transferring this conditioned belief onto other areas in your life where you are learning something that you think you're not ready yet because you're not perfect?
No, not well, maybe when I was younger, yes, but mostly it's because it's deep rooted in the music, because we were all brought up in a music school and things, and the British music school system's a bit intense. Yeah, it's just this one that it's like a deep wound probably, but it's a conditioned belief which I keep reminding myself it doesn't exist. And yeah, it's just an interesting one. It doesn't stop me, but every time, I have to have a moment before every one of my sessions, like,
Yeah.
doesn't have to
Yeah.
be perfect. Even though I've been doing this for a long time,
Yeah.
I have to keep reminding myself.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. And Reem, how about you?
I really struggled to think about something because I was just telling Charlotte, like, since I was a kid, I like to challenge everything that they were telling me. Like, every time they say something, like, why, but why? And I hated the fact that my parents were, because I said so, or my 10 years ex because I'm the man. And like, so I just always used to find my own thing. But the example that I was talking to Charlotte about is like, I was thinking about my parents that, like, when we grew up, because they're Egyptians, they moved to Abu Dhabi. It was a desert, and like they didn't know like other nationalities and other religions back in Egypt. So like there was a fear of other people, like that they wouldn't hold the same values as we would, because they're not the same religion. Not so, but for me, like growing up, like I started like making different friends, different nationalities, different like religions, and at the beginning, for example, I would be in trouble, and a friend of mine, whatever religion she is, she would like help me out and would tell my mom, okay, my friend, like for example, drove me to the hospital, or like she helped me do this. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, I mean, is it how like weird? Like she's Christian and she did that. Like that's she would be very surprised. And like, yeah, like now 3-4 years later, like she actually realized like, oh well, actually they're good people. They can help. We can coexist. And like whenever I say something happened with a good friend, she starts like praying for them. Oh, bless her, bless them. So actually, I unconditioned them. I'm not really sure this is a good example, but I genuinely could not think of something else.
That's okay. You don't need to always to come to clear conclusions. That's not to be perfect. It's fine. Thank you for sharing, Reem. Kaisha, what do you have found out?
Well, I have quite a few, which I was just sharing with Rosemary. As a Hindu girl growing up, we couldn't eat beef, and I always wondered why I can't eat beef, but I can eat every other meat in the world and not beef,
Yeah.
because all Hindus don't eat beef. And then my family was vegetarian only on Monday and Thursdays, but on every other day we eat non-veg. Yeah, so Monday was for Lord Shiva, and Thursday was for some other goddess. I don't know. So I kept saying, Like, why? And then there was once my husband actually said, we were on a holiday, and he said, oh, it's Monday, I'll just eat and I'll make up for it tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday, so I'll make up for the veg day tomorrow. So, you know, we try to, we don't know why we are doing this. And
Yeah.
then so it's just like, and now when as I got more into the spiritual part, I kept questioning. I said, why can I eat on every other day and not on Monday? Let me try eating on Monday. So I ate like a fish burger on Monday and nothing happened. The world didn't fall down. So, you know, I like, so
Challenging
just
your belief. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
another one I was sharing with Rosemary was like, you know, when a black cat passes you when you're driving, it's
Superstition,
supposed to
yeah.
be really bad luck. Yeah. So my mom would make us, she'll stop the car. I remember like she'll stop the car, reset the engine and start again. Like, oh, the black cat has crossed and now, you know, something bad's going to happen. And in the last 5 to 7 years, I don't know how many black cats have passed my way and nothing bad really happened. So I'm wondering, like, why did I grow up? So the first time it happened to me, I was really scared. I said, oh God, you know, what's going to happen? And I did what my mom did, reset the engine, and you know, but over the years, I've been challenging that belief, and I said, well, nothing really happened. I didn't die or I wasn't struck by lightning. So why? What is this belief about?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are just a few things that I grew up with, just having, you know,
Yeah.
conditioned to believe that it's bad luck if it's a white cat or a brown cat or a
So
black
your
dog.
strategy, so
But it's
your
only a black,
strategy, Kaisha, is that you are looking at this belief system and then you prove yourself or everybody
yeah,
else wrong by doing
yeah,
it. That's brilliant because that's exactly what you do. You do it nevertheless. And that's the
yeah.
way to do it. You do it and then you find out it was a lie and you can name it as such. It's just really important that you name it. It's not just the superstition. It's a lie. They were lying to you as a child. Yeah, you have to be always very clear with your words, not only in the family constellation, also in your own dialogue, in your internal dialogue. Say to that's a lie, and as more, and if you're getting allergic to lies, which you will more and more and more in your spiritual journey, then you will be more and more impatient with these mind-created problems, you
Not
know,
really
which are
lying. They
conditioned.
were not really, were they lying? They were not really
It's a
lying.
lie.
This,
Because you
this is
prove them wrong. There's a cat, you cross a path, nothing happens. You prove them wrong. It's a lie. They say to you when a a cat crosses from left to right in front of your car, something bad will happen to you. And it doesn't. So it's a lie. We need to name things by their real names because otherwise we try to make it all look good still, you know. But there's nobody to defend, you know. There's nobody to defend. It's just for your own mind to point out this is a lie and this is truth. There is only, remember, no little bit of pregnancy. There's either truth or a lie. Full stop. There's nothing in between. Spiritual path. Welcome to the spiritual path. Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Kasia. Rosemary, you had a big laugh, so now I'm curious.
No, mine are not big in a way. Just for example, as a child, when I was sitting outside in the sunshine on a Sunday afternoon and I would knit, my mother would call me inside because knitting is work. We are not doing any work on Sunday, not for other people to see. And also the washing, never hang out washing on a Sunday.
Ooh.
Yeah, very strict.
That's
And
like the Sabbath in Jewish religion.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
And my mother was not religious. Was not really
Oh.
not, and I now I need on Sundays outside. I hang the washing out, whatever. But I still think of it, or it makes me laugh. It's not that I feel guilty, but or in a way that I have a bad feeling, or it just I think it's funny. It doesn't make sense.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. It's a lie, right? It's not
Well,
true.
She didn't in a way hang consequences on this in a way like you would drop dead or something like this. It's just, this is not what we are doing.
Yeah.
But
So,
I don't know why.
so without now overstretching our conversation, this is a homework for you, Rosemary. If I tell you, you have to find the truth, and if it's not true, it's a lie, then I would like you to find out for yourself what this is, what we were just describing. Yeah? Is it truth or is it a lie? You can only have these two words. Homework, you don't need to do that now. You do it at home. You do it for yourself to find that out.
It never came with a threat, you see?
Stay with this question. Don't answer
Yeah.
now. That's your homework. Find that
Okay.
out. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for sharing. So we have our 10 minutes break. Now it's a little bit late, but nevertheless, and then we will go into part 2. I see you back in 10. I put the timer on. See ya. I just want to go that really briefly because we have other things that coming when we talk about troubleshooting, which I want to focus on. So just read it out. We have talked about most of it. So everyone who is earnestly seeking the truth and self on any spiritual path is inevitably experiencing the so-called dark night of the soul, which we talked about. This is a period of utter, this is the definition, if you will, a period of utter spiritual desolation, disconnection, and emptiness in which one feels separated from the divine, totally lost, hopeless, without meaning in life. So it's a really strong, it's a really strong sensation when you go through that. Signs are sleeplessness, fear or even horror, feels like a depression, questioning the meaning in life, nothing brings joy, no one can help. That's also part of the dark night, right? You feel you're totally alone, absolutely, utterly alone. And it is a collapse of values. Yeah? Nothing that was valuable to you makes sense anymore. Nothing seems to do the trick anymore. So you might have visitors in the night. That happens. Out-of-body experiences, signs, which all come to guide you through this phase. Yeah. So embrace it. This is there to guide you. And ask for help. Ask your spiritual helpers. Ask your higher self. Ask your teachers. Ask anybody for help who has gone through that already successfully. Yeah. They will be there and support. You know. After going through the dark night of the soul, you'll experience a change of perception. A lot of people are reporting that they see nature in another glow or more sharp or something like that. Lightness in being, new goals and motivations, connection to the divine, and a new sense of self. That is the outcome of the dark night of the soul. Okay, and blind spots, every aspect in yourself that you have not looked at, brought into life, is called a spiritual or emotional blind spot. When working with a client in a similar issue comes up, in your mic, something wrong with the mic? Is this going on again? Let me just check that. No, it shouldn't. Let's see. Clearing blind spots is a result of continuing with the work of self-realization, right? It's just a side effect. You don't need to focus on your blind spot. You don't need to find them. They find you. You just go and work on yourself, work on your personal development, work on your path to self-realization, and the blind spot will show and will dissolve. Yeah. Every time when you're attending, for example, a family constellation workshop, another aspect of yourself will be revealed and blind spots will be cleared. Not even if you have a constellation, just through representation, sometimes just through observation. Yeah. Sometimes you even don't realize it. So this is the path. This is the path you're stepping on. Unsolved family entanglements are a form of blind spot, of course. It is the same. It's not only your blind spot. It could be also passed down from a family system. No. They are especially important to be looked at and cleared when starting work with family constellation, because you have quite a blur vision on the whole entanglement situation when you have your own blind spot in an entanglement, obviously, right? But as I said, it will find you. You just keep on doing the work. You just keep on going. It will find you. A resolved mother relationship is key to success. Yeah, we know that. And this is also to do a lot with blind spot and conditioning, because of course the most conditioning comes from mother, right? Especially the ones in the womb, mother's emotions and what has been said, no. And lacatosis, I just want to give you the list. All the needs that you can feel is there's a lot of needs. Need to be loved, need to be accepted, need to be seen, need to be wanted, need to be needed. There's a need to be needed. Look at that. So, and here's already a trap. Some facilitator or other group facilitator of any kind of group experience, not only family constellation, they find themselves in the needs of the group experience. So that's a trap. If you need the group experience, be aware of that. Okay, now we come to the topic, troubleshooting. I'm just focused. There's lots of trouble you can have. I cannot know what this all may be, but what you definitely have to face one day or the other are these two common troubles in family constellations. Mentally impaired participants is one, and the other is family secrets. So, mentally impaired participants, what is this and how do we tackle the situation in a family constellation? First of all, signs of a mentally impaired person in a family constellation workshop are can't comply with the rules, demands your attention more than others, is never content with the outcome, always wants something more, something else, something added to it, can run in and out of the room or leave, get up and down on the seat. That's also a very common situation. They take over roles in a family constellation without being asked. They say, oh, I have to go in there. I feel this, you know. There's some very rarely genuine movements from the field, but most of them are actually hinting at a disorder, like a mentally disorder, if there's this urge to do that all the time. Yeah. Claims not to be able out of the role is also, especially if it continues after we talked about yesterday, how to, you know, leave the morphic field and what that means, and that you are not inviting emotions or spirit into your energy system, that you are leaving that you are not leaving your energy system, that you're just tapping into emotions, into informations. That's all what we talked about. But in a mentally impaired participant, they think they are possessed by the role or the family member they have represented, and they can't get out of it. They can't get rid of it, right? That is also another way of getting your attention, you know, climbing all your attention, because now you have to look after this guy or girl, right? Often they hear voices. They say, I just heard something, and this is, you know, and they think that's the representative. But as you all know, when you're in a family constellation, you don't hear voices when you get an information. That's not how it works. You get the information in a non-verbal way, right? So if these these participants claim they hear voices, then, you know, we have in German, it is saying there's a screw loose. Eine Schraube locker, a screw loose. Or not all the cupboards, not all the cups in the cupboard or something like that. What what is the British saying for Charlotte? What do they say in UK?
You would say a screw loose, or you would say a sandwich short of a picnic, or you
What?
say
A what?
a sandwich short of a picnic,
A sandwich
or you
short
would
of.
say
That's so
what
funny.
else?
Do you say
Something like
fruitcake?
A what?
no, always a sandwich short of a picnic.
A sandwich
Fruitcake.
short
I
of.
think that's American fruitcake.
Oh yeah, fruitcake. You can say fruitcake. Yeah.
Fruitcake. Interesting. So, uh, what else do we have? Yeah, and also they want to tell you what to do, right? This is also often the case, no? That they think they are better than you with whatever you do. So, a severe form of mentally impaired. So, how do first of all, how do we deal with these people? First of all, you cannot help them. Remember, yeah, because they don't come for help. They don't come for help in a way to deal with their mental impairment. They may come for help with the family system. Yeah. Because, they might, they might be sent by the family system, by the family to heal a family soul. But just because you are recognizing somebody with mental impairment in your group, it's not that you need to get him out of there or try even, right? That's not the case. You have to deal with the distractions that coming from this person, right? That's it. And this is everything we learned about leading a group, leading a client, leading a participant. That's, to apply, to take over the leadership over these difficult person. Yeah. Don't feel tempted to heal or bring him out there. You can only do what they ask for, right? If he doesn't want or she doesn't want a constellation, then that's it. Just need to deal with them. Right? If it's getting totally out of hand, you have to say, just you're distracting, just leave the room. So a severe form of a mentally impaired person is schizophrenia, of course. And we have in the group chat, in the on the community page, we have a whole topic schizophrenia, and lots of participants and lots of trainees have put input in there, videos and stuff. Yeah, so have a look. It's really interesting. It's a very hot topic, schizophrenia, because on a like the school medicine says, or the psychiatric practice says, you cannot heal schizophrenia, you can only manage it, yeah, with medication. That's that if you look up Wikipedia or anything else on Google, that's what it says. You cannot heal it. That's actually something that also Bert Hellinger said in a way, right? So there is a truth in that. However, I think when this appears in a family constellation, we should not give too early. There's always the possibility that yes, you cannot help. You haven't probably not been helping for a long time, but maybe this time you can, right? And something can heal. So I wouldn't give up immediately, but be aware that you might not go anywhere. And schizophrenia can be either in the client or comes up in a family constellation. Yeah. And so we need to look at how it looks like, what are the reasons in schizophrenia and family systems, and what we might or cannot do, right? So what is one of the reasons for schizophrenia and family systems? You see that in one of the Bert Hellinger videos that is linked in the group chat about schizophrenia and the topic. The main reason of schizophrenia, or there are two reasons. Schizophrenia in a family system can often be that the parents from a child, father and mother, they are there's a fight going on. There's a deep fight going on that's not in the open. That's one reason for schizophrenia. But this is not just because they fight about day-to-day things. That is because they both have family systems. They are not congruent. That's the fight. Yeah. And this is also leading to the second possibility, which is kind of similar to that, is that, or the official version is that schizophrenia is when in one person are two entanglements with opposing dynamics. So you cannot clear the entanglement, because if you would clear one entanglement, the other one would draw it back in. It's like a pendulum, It's like so this is why you cannot clear it. It comes from one to the other, to the one to the other, back and forth, or ping pong, or whatever you want to call it, right? And that is the same when you look at this video of Bert Hellinger with the child and the two parents. This child is entangled with both parents, but they are drawn in different directions because they are both entangled with other issues of their family system, and that is opposing. Right? So this is why, in general, it has been said you cannot deal with schizophrenia on a psychiatric level, and nor in family constellation. But I think you can try. There's maybe a movement of the soul, maybe a little one. It doesn't matter. But if somebody, I'm a strong believer in resonating with the field on all levels. So if somebody comes to your workshop, there is something, that has a reason. It is not by chance. Or if somebody has a family counseling and you're facilitating it, and there's schizophrenia in the family system, this is also not coming up by chance. So I just want you to be aware to watch the signs, yeah, and be very aware that you get sidetracked and you are in trouble if you follow that. Try to follow that, yeah, because it will lead nowhere. You cannot apply the normal tools that you have learned from family systems, from family constellating, yeah. But that doesn't mean you cannot look at it and try something out. It's always great, to try something out and see if that would have an effect. So the signs of schizophrenia in a family system are that a person is running in circles, right? That's normally the sign of schizophrenia. So literally running in circles. It's not the only sign, but it is a very clear sign. And that means running. Running means also not slow movement, not the movement of a soul. It's really literally turning around in circles, either around a person or the whole group or something like that. This going in circles is a sign for schizophrenia. I have also seen that with like a swaying in a virtual workshop, like this swaying things. So there's a sign for schizophrenia. Then there are other signs, but they are more subtle and they are not so obvious. So they can be anything really. So you will see when you see it, you will know, right? Because oh, there's two opposing dynamics that are literally tearing this person apart. I don't know where to go, or where to hold on it. This is why they go in circles, because they don't know which way to go. How do we deal with it? Well, as I said, there is not oops, why is this gone? There is not a one know-it-all situation for schizophrenia. Some say you don't deal with it at all, you break it up if schizophrenia appears. And that's an option. That is, we are talking about troubleshooting, and before you get in trouble, just break it up there. I had a client who came to my in-person workshops years ago on a regular basis, probably every year. And every single time when he was constellating, we ended up in the same mess. It was really like unbelievable. So that means that in the last constellation 1 year ago, nothing has happened. Yeah, which is very rare. And then it's the second time I realized that there's schizophrenia in this family, because there were signs, And you also see that in the client when he's utterly confused, no, often that there is schizophrenia in the family, and it doesn't move anything. I think actually he came 3 times, to be honest, and we always ended at the same. And then there's the third time he actually realized, isn't that not the same? And I said, yeah, that's exactly the same as last year. Right. That's also a sign for schizophrenia. Nothing moves, no soul movement, and whatever you do, so don't be frustrated. This is nothing you can do if that is not going to happen, right? Don't put too much effort in it. Most likely, nothing you can do with this. So, but what you can do is when you're in trouble and it's a family secret, then you can take action. And that's actually quite an easy way to deal with it. So what is a family secret and when does it come up? So when a constellation is not moving ahead and no dynamic shows up with the representative, then most likely there is a family secret. And I think we had one in the last workshop. Who was there? Rosemary, Raymond, Charlotte. Do you remember? Was this in the last workshop? Yeah. So it is like you have, like, say, 5 representatives. And normally there is one representative with a strong, connection or disconnection to something to start working with, right? And at this constellation, nobody had anything. Like everything was okay. Nobody was, no emotions. Nobody was, but also not disconnected. Just, just no information. Absolutely no information. You get no information from the representatives. And that is a sign that there is a family secret. So when nothing moves in a family constellation, then it is time to add an element, a representative, and that is for the family secret. And when, after this family secret comes into the constellation, something starts to move, just one representative at least, then you know it was or it is a family secret. So you can always experiment. It never hurts, to try that out. When you are stuck, it might not be because you are running out of options or ideas. It might be that it's actually stuck because there is a family secret. And I would say that happens probably in my experience, every 15 constellations, there is a family secret. 1-5, so 15. Then there is a family secret. So it's not rare, but it's also not happen a lot. So family secrets will remain unresolved in a constellation if they be undetected, obviously. So nothing will move, the souls won't move. You might do some interrupted movements there or something, to work with something. But if the family secret is if they have a family secret and it hasn't been addressed, then the constellation will remain unsolved. So you have to find it. Maybe it needs 2 family constellations to find it, maybe. Something happens quite interestingly if you break it up. And now we're coming to the importance of breaking up a family constellation. If you go on and on and on, although nothing is happening, you are kind of watering everything down, right? We talked about that. But it's not a mistake, you can't make it worse, but you definitely don't help, like, moving the souls. But if you find the peak and you finish it off there, you break it off there, then the souls can move up to half a year after that. The same as with a family secret. When you break it up because you can't go ahead, because you can't see that it's a family secret, and you break it up courageously, you say, we break it up here, then sometimes the family secret reveals after the constellation to the client. I have had that. So that means that the movement has kind of get a kick in the ass like the family system with this constellation, just because you found the right energetic point to break it up so that the family secret is revealed then after client, because all of a sudden somebody from the family is saying something, right, which has never been said. Yeah, and I have had that at least once. I think I remember it twice. So don't forget, what you do in a family constellation has a ripple effect, or moves beyond the family constellation, the time of the family constellation. No, that's really important. So what are we doing when we think there's a family secret? We are choosing a representative for the secret. Yeah, and then we move we observe the movement of the souls. It's as simple as that. You just choose one of the participants as, or one of figurines or whatever you use, or a cushion, or if you use objects, and add that. And you don't need to say to the family who that is. You don't need to say to the representative, this is the family secret. You do not need to reveal yet that you think that is a family secret. You just add the person and put it there. And then you see the reaction. And when some movement takes place, then you can say there is a family secret, because you know. Because through adding it, it will move. And if you add somebody or a representative and nothing happens neither, then it wasn't a family secret. Then you don't need to say that, And then it's probably a good time to break it up. Because if nothing moves, you can do nothing. If you have no relationship between the representatives, family members, if there's nothing to work. Yes, Rin.
So let's assume you tried to add the secret, nothing happened, and that there's no moment you decide to break it up. Going back to the point that we were talking about yesterday about paying money, what if the client says, like, you've done nothing for me, can I get a refund? What would you say?
No, of course not. They cannot get a refund before they come, even. They cannot get a refund when they have been in the work. Look, you're not promising a certain outcome. You're not. This is not serve. This is you serve. This is not you. They don't buy a product. No, they don't come as a broken self and get out as a healed self, and that's what you pay. That's what they pay for. They pay for the participation. Yeah, and they don't even pay for a constellation because they don't get one. And I may have actually forgot to mention that sometimes you are compelled to let people come on a budget, on a discount, because they said they don't want to constellate. They just want to represent, right? And then they said, well, I don't want a constellation, so can I come half price or something like that? And then, so Bert Helling was clear. So it's not just not existent, because you are part of the morphic field. You get what you get. You come here for the workshop. You don't come here to constellate. The constellation is so to call. You just need to work with somebody, so the whole group can resonate with it. Go in this healing space. But I know you are tempted, and you might even do that. I have done that. I was tempted when I started. I have done that a few times. It never works out. It just never works out. Then these people all of a sudden want a constellation. So what are we doing now? Do they now have to pay cash on or they get so much out of the workshop that they came later and said, I want to pay the whole amount because I didn't know how much I get out of the workshop. Yeah, well, honest people are also around. Of course, they're not only jerks. So I felt it is not right. It's not right to do that, and I stopped doing that. Stop offering that. And also remember, if you give more, then they can balance out. Then what are you gonna do? You have to kind of dismiss this person in the long run. This is not a stable relationship. And then also, while we're on this topic, payments, I also have heard of, and I have done it once. I was engaged by a private family constellation with a family. So the family wanted a private workshop. There was like 4 or 5 members of a family. And so, because I couldn't do the workshop with only the 4 or 5 family members, I said to them, yeah, I can do that, but I have to bring representatives. And then they had to pay for the representatives to come. It was like a job, if you will. Yeah. So that that can also happen. So this can all happen as long as there's a balance in giving and receiving. You're on the safe side. Yeah. But when you start the workshop, or even when you organize the workshop, you have already given everything. As long as you let the workshop happen, right? You have given what there's no need for any specific outcome. Yeah. Okay. What else do we have? Okay, so we have an exercise to the family secret. Is there any other? So what we're gonna do is we will constellate a family secret. I will use the figurine board, and we will look at it. And then that's then at the end. Any questions to the family secret before we go in the practical part? Let me just put on my phone here, my camera. And some light. There we go. So, okay, here's the board. You have all worked with or seen the board before, have you? The figurines? Yeah. Okay. Out of the way. So, yes, let's just, we just look at the standard constellations. It's either figurines or other objects or people, of course. So we have here, let's say we have here 5 people at any stage of the constellation. It's often the beginning, by the way, right? It's rarely that everything moves and comes to a halt. Could be, but it's more often at the beginning. So you start with all these representatives, and then now they would, let's put them that way. So I can demonstrate that correctly. Okay, let's see if that is correct. So when you look at them, nobody's really facing anybody else. Yeah, that's how it normally looks. So this is weird, right? There is no dynamic, yet you see a dynamic by eye contact, body language, yeah, or emotions. So you would now ask every one of those, how do you feel, right? And they would say, okay. Instead of saying, I don't want to look at. So if they say, I don't want to look at this guy, it's already dynamic. Yeah. But they say, I don't know, I'm okay. Yeah? And then you go to the next one and ask him, oh, hang on, he's almost looking. Ask him, how do you feel? And they say, yeah, I'm okay here. Nothing happening. And then you are already wondering, okay. And then you go to the one here, and she looks down, for example. Can you see that? That's normally a dynamic. And you ask, are you sad? Are you looking for something? No, I'm okay. No, I'm not sad. I don't feel sadness. That's a nightmare of a facilitator. You get nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And when said, do you know, Are you avoiding somebody? No, I'm not avoiding. I'm not interested. So, and you go through and you ask all these representatives, what are they, and nothing. You get nothing. And that is like, you're always starting to sweat. You don't know what to do, right? Now, this is a typical situation where you should introduce is another representative. Let's take this here, this guy, and put it somewhere. Yeah, not in the face of somebody. Just put it somewhere. Could be here. It could be there. It doesn't matter. It could be anywhere. Just put it there. It doesn't need to look at anybody. Nothing. It's just there, right? It's just there. And now, if you have hit what do you say, the nail on the head? Yeah, if you have hit the nail on the head, then one would say, let's say this little guy said, "Ooh, I'm really getting angry because I picked him because he's red." So now the emotion comes through that was hidden. Yeah. Not even looking at, not need to look. You just check, how are you now? And then you say, oh, I feel something. It's like I'm hot. I don't know. And maybe he's clenching the fist. And then you said, are you angry? And then say, yeah, I think I'm angry. So now you got something, finally, right? That's what you want. You want something to work with that is hinting at a dynamic, and that's what you get. So now I can't really fake that here because that's not a constellation. Now movement will take place just by acknowledging I'm angry, right? Just because you say to them, then say I'm angry. Then ask them at whom are you angry? And then they would probably say, I'm angry at, let's say, the green one. And then it turns around and say, let him say, I'm angry at you. And you are into a family constellation. Finally, you got something to work with. Now you wonder, what are we doing with this guy? Now this guy doesn't need to do really much. It just needs to be there, because what is the family secret when it is open? What do you think? Rosemary?
Revealed.
Exactly. It's not there anymore. It's no secret. It's revealed. It's no secret anymore. And this is why everybody can move. But, however, you can also alternative ask the family system, where do you want to go? Who of the family members you feel drawn to? Where do you? And then they would probably do this. Probably do this. And then you know this is the carrier of the secret. Yeah. This is the carrier of the secret. That doesn't mean you need to find that out, but sometimes you need to. But sometimes it is revealing if you find out who's the carrier of the secret, right? So then something can happen, like now that there's something going on, so something can happen that they start to look at this, because they probably don't look at the family secret, but now that the carrier of the secret and the secret are together, now they want to look at it. Yeah. Reem?
When you say the carrier of the secret, you mean the person who owns the owner of the secret, or do you mean that someone who's entangled with?
Exactly. Who has put the secret into existence, because this person is hiding something. That's the carrier of the secret. They are hiding that what they want to cover up. So let's make a practical example. As we always have a matter of life and death normally in family constellation, somebody has been murdering somebody else. Yeah. And they're carrying this, and that could be 4 or 5 generations back. It could be even a war situation, right? But somehow not justified. Or even justified, but they feel just embarrassed, or they just don't want anybody to know, right? So remember, this white person is part of the family system, and to be excluded is a disturbance of the orders of love. This is why this needs to come back, because a family secret is always also a member of the family. And in this case, and most often, it is the victim or the perpetrator, but often the victim, yeah, that has been excluded from the family system because the perpetrator hides it as a secret. Nobody else knows it. That's the secret. And when you remember in the workshop, now I remember, who was this again? Who did that constellation? He or she? Yeah, Rosemary, you know?
It was Paul.
Paul. It was. So Paul was going on and saying, oh, we have all the secrets in our family. We have, you know, with the children, and I don't remember. And he wanted to find out if this is one of the secrets. And I said to him, if you know it, it's not a secret, right? You might find it secretive because not many people are knowing it, but it's not a secret. If you know it and you're not the originator, the carrier of the secret, it's not a secret because at least somebody else knows it already. But what I get from what he was saying is that it's a pattern in the family system to have secrets, which are not really secrets because they are sharing it with few people, because there was an original family secret, and that was what we have constellated. And everything else is the typical pattern of an entanglement or an I follow you dynamic or something like that. You know, that you then see in the current generation, you see the secrecy, but not the secret that needs to be revealed because they are part of the family system and they have been excluded. Yeah. So by including this representative as part of the family system, and now acknowledging it as well as part of the family system. So we go through this family constellation as we would do whenever we are introducing the missing link, the missing member. There's nothing special with the family secret here. It's just the missing link, right? It could be, most often it is a victim. Could be also perpetrator, of course. Then the souls start to move towards unity, towards healing. Love can flow again, acknowledging that this exists and that belongs to the family system. And then you can apply all the words you know and all the gestures and all the movements that you know to bring this family constellation to the peak of energy, of the energetic how can I say, of the energetic peak. And then you say, here we leave it. And then that's beautiful because this family is healed from one more family wound, which was the secret. Any questions to that? Yes, Kaisha.
So like you said, the client shouldn't know it's a secret. As long as the client knows about it, it's not a secret, right?
If the client is a carrier of the secret, it's still a secret.
It's still a secret.
If it's the only one. If he's the
So,
only one who knows it.
if the client knows that it's a secret, is it still a secret?
Yeah, if he's not sharing it, yeah.
If it's not sharing it. But like
So
you said,
let's assume this is the client here.
okay.
Yeah. And in a family constellation, you see this. And this is the client. And then you add the family secret. You ask the family secret, which are you drawn to? Well, it says here. And you know your client has a secret that is not revealed. And he will probably be in shock because he wasn't in for that when he came to the workshop. Yeah. And he might reveal it or not to you, but on a soul level, it is revealed.
But what if the carrier of the secret is not in the constellation? What if it's a secret from a few generations or a few like the ancestors or something, would it still show
Okay.
up?
Right. So let's say this is not in the constellations. You're only working with this 4, and you add the family secret, right? And then you would ask the family secret, to whom are you drawn to? It would say to nobody.
Okay.
And then you would add another representative here, and then he would say, I'm drawn to this.
So then that's
Yeah. You can find everything out if you go step by step. And if you don't stop, if you're not content with, if you're not stopping too early. Mhm. Good
thanks.
question. Thank you, Kaisha. Anything else? Yes, Rim.
Not about this. So if everyone else is done just before we close, I just want to go back to the schizophrenia. So may I, or should I wait a little bit?
Wait a little bit, or just ask, is anything regarding the family secret you want to ask? All good? Yeah? Okay, Rim, you shoot.
Thank you. So how does schizophrenia in the family affect the family dynamic? I mean, for example, if someone comes to you and they already know that they have a history of schizophrenia, not the client themselves, but they have a history of schizophrenia in their family system, does
Yep.
that affect the rest of the family? Can you still consolate the others? Like, how does it?
Definitely can constellate, because maybe the schizophrenian people are not part of the constellation. You don't know that. It could be that. Let's make an example. There's a line of schizophrenia in the maternal line. Yeah. So grandmother and mother, grandmother, and great grandmother are diagnosed with schizophrenia. And then you have a client who comes to a constellation, and they want to quit smoking, and then you work only with the father and the fraternal line, right? So you're not even touching that. So it won't show up, and it would make, it makes no difference. However, if in the family constellation now the mother comes and the grandmother and the great grandmother, and that all shows up, I'm not saying you shouldn't work with it. I just say, don't be surprised if you can't do anything, because that's what typically happens. You should still go with it, but you will, don't be frustrated and think it's your fault when you can't do anything, because that is what you're in for. Yeah, Rosemary.
Today I was just thinking about my younger brother, and he has schizophrenia. And anyway, I thought of maybe next time we have a workshop, then I would like to have a constellation. And my idea would be, he is sexually completely obsessed with me. So anyway, if I could get more distance to him.
Oh yes, of course.
So anyway, you could work on me.
Of course. Yeah, definitely. We definitely should do that. Yeah, 100%. Just remind me on the next workshop, because I maybe have forgotten.
So this would be challenging.
Or we do it on a practice workshop. Let's do it on a practice workshop.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do it on a practice workshop.
But interesting, just today I thought about that, and it was because the other day with Dream I had an exercise about how we had to think about, is there tune in, and then in a way you would come up with, is there something with your father or your mother? This was the question. And then in a way I thought of my brothers, and I told her, and then I thought maybe I should do. And just today, and look at this, and you come with schizophrenia. How interesting, isn't it?
That's the field. Welcome to the field. Right? It's really, that's how it works. So now you know a lot more, and I never heard you saying that your brother has schizophrenia, which is also interesting, because you haven't mentioned that before.
I didn't know for maybe 20 years. He was in the mental hospital or whatever, but they never talked to us. You see, we were young. We were, they never, he was always included in the session. It was never revealed to us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and for me, it's not something I have to mention.
Yeah. Very good.
It's not, and it's not that I feel like I have to be ashamed or I shouldn't talk
No,
about
I
it.
understand. Yeah. It wasn't a thing.
No.
Okay,
Okay.
it's gonna be
Be
interesting.
prepared.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So we have next month, we have 2 workshops. One is an open workshop, one is a practice workshop, and we also have a training gathering. So these are, and we have module 4. So you have 4 events. That's a really full month, right? You have 4 events to come to in the month of April. Remember that the practice workshop and the training gatherings are only displayed on the community calendar. And when you only look on the community calendar, you only see in New Zealand times. Before you have to import the calendar in your own calendar, so the clever computer realizes that you are not in New Zealand, and then it will translate or transfer the times into your own time zone. So don't, that's different to the website where you book the open workshop and the module. When you go on the website, then you already see your own time zone, right? Not New Zealand time. So everything you see on the website, because they know your IP address, and as long as you don't use a VNP, they know which country you're in, then you get but not in the training community calendar. You need to press the plus to see your own time zone. Clear, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next event, which I don't know exactly when it is. It will be in a few weeks, I suppose. And so yeah, and are there any other questions to what we have? Let me just turn off the sharing so I can see you all better. Is there any other questions for the whole module 3? Or any remarks or anything you want to share, Reem?
I have a question, is like connecting to the field or tapping onto the field. Like how do you know you're connected? How do you know or this is something that we would do later?
What do you think? Anybody? How do you
Like
know
you-
when you are representing? How do you know who you're
Oh
connected to?
no. When you're facilitating, like
Same.
how do you
The connection is always the same as a representative. Feels exactly the same. You will see that in the practice workshop when you're practicing. Yeah. There is no how. How to. It is just, it is. It just is. No. I leave you with
Maya,
this.
sorry, Maya,
Yes.
I missed yesterday's session. When will you put the video up for that?
Usually within 7 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Usually
nice.
within 7 days. And this day will be a little bit pieced together. But I just realized that most what I talked about we had later in the charts anyhow, so we don't need to repeat this day. There's little that I said that we didn't talk about anyhow. So so I think you'll be fine. And I'm glad that we sorted the mic out. It's much better, isn't it? Ah, so good. Finally.
finally?
Oh, good.
I
I
have
would
to
like
make
to
a
hear.
move.
Yeah, you want to go?
Yeah, I've got to go. My friend's just popped around the door, ready to cook my
That's
dinner.
fine. Do you want to say anything about module 3, or what is your last word in this
My
one?
last word. Yay!
Yay, okay, yay is good.
Yeah,
See
no,
you,
all great. And see you soon, guys. See you next month.
see you soon, Charlotte. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye. And what is your last word? Rosemary. No, yes.
Just one word, or
No,
uh,
you can, not too long, but you can say a few.
the first day what really stuck with me is in a way, if someone tells you all their issues, not to buy into it, not saying anything. I find it very, very interesting. And maybe I have a question here too. Does that in a way also play in the everyday life?
I think that is called active listening. It is a better word for in and out, in and out.
Okay.
Listening is letting somebody else talk, no? And don't make it your own. You're not commenting on it. Because when you're commenting on it, you make it your own. And we all have the urge, and we all have that in a daily life. Somebody's taking something and we can't wait to add to it from our own experience, you know. So somebody is saying, oh, today I was watching a car accident and it was really horrible. And you have watched a car accident yourself and you can't wait to tell, yes, I have seen a car accident too. It was horrible 20 years ago, you know. This is our urge. And active listening is not to urge to say something. Let them talk. That's all. Just let them talk. And this is actually in and out, because you know, otherwise you have the urge. If you let in and sink in, then you have the urge to respond to it, right? So it's not a bad thing. It's also in daily life not a bad thing not to. It's just unusual not to react to somebody says, but you still have eye contact and you're not neglecting it. You're not like saying, I don't want to hear that. It's just, you know, let them say what they have to say. But you don't need to, it's like a ping pong game. They play a ping pong ball. You don't need to play the same ball back. Then you're into a game. As a facilitator, you don't want to play games. You step aside, you let the ping pong ball go into nothing, you know, and then you say, let's work. Of course, some of what they say, so it might be misleading. Some of what, you know, the field will send some information to the client. It is not that there's nothing, you know, and they will stuck with you, right? So if you hear them saying, and they was on and on about the great grandfather or something they've heard, and then there's one sentence, one word about the father, and then it makes click, and you think, we need the father. We need to start with the father, right? So there is value in the talking. There's no doubt about that. But it's not the story that you're picking up, because the story wants to lead you astray because it's coming from the mind. So if you would, in this example, follow, you would start with the great grandfather he was going on about, right? And probably waste a lot of time, right? Why there is a father issue that you picked up, because then all of a sudden there's one word, one sentence, and you will just feel that it has a strong. So Bert Hellinger always called that what is the English? How can you translate that in English? He would say, this has power. Sagte immer, das hat Kraft. This has power. So there can be somebody says 1,000 words, and one of the word has this power, and that's what he goes with, and that's what I go with, and that's what you will go with. Yeah, and that's just something you learn from experience. This is nobody is born into that. You have to practice, and then you will suss out what is this, what has power, what is really coming out of everything they said. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you're all good. Reem, what's your last word for module 3?
We passed halfway there, 2 more to go. It was.
Sorry, what was
it was,
it? I didn't get you.
We're past the halfway, like we're done with 3, 2 more. So like, yay, we're almost done.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, halfway. Yeah, that's true. It's a milestone.
Through the course, the whole course. Yes.
Yeah.
I think the schizophrenia part is just still like that's the biggest uh like yeah, I think thought that would be sitting in my head for some time because I have my cousin who has schizophrenia. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's very interesting to see how that affects the family
Yeah.
system and like how does that play.
Yeah. So
But like, yeah,
definitely
thank you.
watch all these resources we have already gathered to this topic, and watch the videos that are linked there. That will all make makes more sense and everything else.
Yeah, and I remember Hiba was telling me that mom always have challenge. Yeah, you have challenge with my mom with her constellations. Always like, I really need to go look into our family system, like the family tree of my mom, because it's like my cousin from my mom's side. So
Yeah,
so
okay.
thank you. I'll go.
Yeah,
I'll
great.
go back.
Good. Awesome.
Thank you, Maya.
Thank you for your feedback. And Kaisha, what is your last word? It was your first module, wasn't it?
It was my first live module. Yeah.
Yeah. How
So-
weird is that? Starting with the things that can
yeah.
go wrong. Yeah, anyhow.
Yeah, but yeah, I haven't really attended a workshop where a live family constellation actually goes on, even personally, or even like, so I'm looking forward to seeing how representatives behave and move. I've only done one-to-one, and I've only done it with those figurines. Yeah, so I'm quite interested to see how reps will, like you said, start turning around or doing all these
Yeah.
things. And,
Yeah, and you will see all this in the virtual workshops as well, because this is actually, this is all happening. It's happening, although it's hard to explain. So you have this coming month in April. I hope the times are okay for you. It should be, because you are just 6 hours, I think. Yeah, definitely you have plenty of you have at least two. You have an open workshop and you have the practice workshop where you 6 hours where you will dive into that.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Okay,
you.
wonderful. So Reem, one more thing.
You said there was a family that you hired representative for them for the workshop. Like, why didn't the family itself? Like, why didn't you use them to do the constellation? Why did you hire representatives? Sorry, during the session today, you
Okay.
said there was a family.
Yeah. So that's ages ago. Ages ago, it was in Switzerland, and that was before virtual. So I said to this family, look, we can only make a workshop with 10 minimum people, and if they can bring, they were four, I think, four family members. If they can bring 6 more people to the workshop, that's fine. Then we have the workshop. But they said they don't have 6 people who would want to come. They maybe had 1 or so, or 2. And then I said, okay, well, I can bring the rest, but we have to pay for them, because they're not coming. They're coming because they're hired as representatives, as you were. So that was that. But that's not very often. You're not very often being asked by a family to do a private workshop. That was really very, very special. Okay, right. So I leave you with all of this. The recordings will be out in around about a week's time, and then check the dates for all the events. And I hope I see you to the next one.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Maya. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.